My story of choosing to stay is extremely controversial because my husband cheated, had multiple affairs, and was a severe corn addict. And I know that my content is very, very triggering to a lot of people, but I share my story because I want to share hope with women that there is hope on the other side of this, and men can be set free from corn addiction, and women can heal, fully be restored after betrayal trauma. But I want to talk about something because I get a lot of women who are like, just leave him, laughing emojis, mocking me, etc. And I get where this is coming from. But we also need to think about the variables in situations. Not everything in life is black and white. And it's actually a very toxic way of looking at life to think that it's basically all or none, this or that. There's actually a lot of different variables in this gray space of people's lives. For example, you could have been with somebody for 2 months or over 3, 10 years. Children involved, no children involved, someone who's willing to change, someone who's unwilling to change, someone who's trying to make the relation work and get help and recovery, someone who absolutely is adamant they will not get help and recovery, women who are willing to stay, women who are unwilling to stay, men who are fighting for their marriage, men who are not fighting for their marriage, people who are listening, people who are not listening, people who have finances and homes and things entangled, people who don't have those things entangled. Like, I could just keep going on and on. You kind of get the point of where I'm going here. But ultimately, if someone in your life has walked away and does not want to make a relationship work, where I believe some of these triggers are coming from, let them go. That person's choice is not a reflection that you were not worth it, that you were not worth fighting for, that you were not beautiful enough, whatever it may be, that insecurity within your heart that is wounded and in tremendous amount of pain. That person's actions are in no way where your worth is going to come from, and something better will come along. You know, if someone wants to walk out of your life, you have to let them go. You can't control that, and that is really, really unfair, especially if there are children involved and you have built a life with this person. If somebody wants to stay and try and make this work and they are going through recovery as a corn addict, that is a very difficult road in choosing to stay as a partner to see them get to a full point in recovery. And unfortunately, it's not a straight line up a mountain where you're only going to see progress. You will see progress, you will see relapse, you will see progress, you will see maybe going back here because things aren't being communicated well in the relationship, and progress, and down here and progress, until finally you get up the mountain. And that is the reality of choosing to stay with a corn addict. Now, eventually they have to get to a point of sobriety and choosing not to, but they have to ultimately, a lot of these men think like sobriety is it. That's all I need to do is just be sober. No, that's great. That's amazing if you've made it to sobriety. That is awesome. But what really has to happen is navigating shame. Because if you can't navigate shame, you can't communicate with your partner. And the whole reason why this imploded in your life is because you can't communicate your feelings, and you can't communicate with your partner. And if your partner tries to communicate with you, your shields and defenses, your fight or flight defenses trigger trauma immediately flares up. And so your brain's not even in a place willing to connect with your partner. And that puts your partner back into a vicious cycle of PTSD and feeling betrayed, feeling abandoned and isolated because she is cut off or he is cut off. So there is a lot of variables in these situations, and there's a lot of work that has to be done in order to repair the relationship. If someone does want to come back into your life, you have to set very, very firm boundaries. You have to understand what this addiction is like. You can't just take their denial and their word for it. You have to understand, no, like there's a lot of denial involved in this. I need you to see you get accountability, recovery. I need to see that there's progress in the situation. That's a really big thing. I need to start seeing that you're being vulnerable and transparent and communicating your feelings. I need you to be honest with me if you feel like you're struggling or maybe you're close to a relapse. If you can, if you've already relapsed, please come talk to me, because it would be better for you to communicate that than for me to find out and there'd be more lies and cover up and shame. Like, I will be a safe place for you in those situations. What's going to hurt me and set us backwards is if the lying continues. So I hope you found all these things helpful. But yeah, I agree, like, to just welcome somebody back into your life with compassion and empathy and love and care, and maybe even a trauma bond, to just like welcome them back into your life without setting those boundaries is risky, is dangerous. There's no risk in them coming back into your life. You are taking all the risk and letting an abuser back in the home if they're not willing to get change.